Welcome to another episode of the Greatness Engineering Show, the show where we explore the inner engineering and the leadership and the purpose of the human potential. This is Mireille, all the way from Perth, Australia, your host. You know me as the Greatness Engineer, and it's always a pleasure to be with you. It's always a pleasure to bring you, some wisdom and bring you the best around the world. The people that I call the greatness engineers, who are engineering greatness in their community, wherever they are, and really went through a lot sometime, and I've been able to really go through the challenges, and they're sharing with us their strategies, their experience, their stories, so that we can build on their experience to go to the next level of our greatness. So today, we're going to the US again, and we're going to talk about leadership, healing, and faith, and how they intersect. And my guest is, it's going to be very interesting with my French accent and really trying to pronounce the name. It's going to be Miss England. So she will have the opportunity. So her name is LaVada. If it's too difficult for you to pronounce, she's going to have the opportunity to let us know how we pronounce it, and to also give us a little bit of her background, and I'm really excited about what's coming, because her story is just amazing. Just to give you a brief introduction about her, let me just give you the picture first, so that you have already from the picture, you will already have some, an idea of the type of person she is: warm and really, outgoing, and really loving being with people. And that's really what we really want to know, and from her, and see how she's come up to where she is right now. She is based in San Diego. She's a community leader, she's a mentor, she's an author, she's a global advocate for life, and her work is about restoration, resilience, and emotional intelligent leadership. She is a queen, so a queen in both in spirit and in service, and she's devoted more than 2 decades to empower women, youth, and family to rise beyond their circumstances and reclaim their full potential. So something that we all are looking for. So let us know where you're watching from, and don't hesitate to participate. This show is for you. I bring the greatness engineer for you to learn from them, and to be able for you to go to the next level of your greatness. So let's start. Let's bring Mrs. England today with us. To another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show, the show that is brought to you by the Virai Telekima Global Leadership Organization.
Real is important is if you just look at the word compassion, it's behavior. It's something that can be learned, and it is something that we can embody through habits and through our daily action.
To get this idea that if we interject this wisdom intentionally, I call them needle movers. It's the needle mover that's missing.
Don't deprive the world of your greatness. Don't do that anymore. Dare to excel, dare to be sexy, dare to be you, dare to be the best version of yourself. Impact yourself positively, and from there impact others, and you are not alone.
So welcome, Miss England. Welcome to the Greatness Engineering Show. It is a pleasure to have you. I'm really excited about this conversation that we're going to have. But before we reach this stage, just want you just want to ask you if you want to add to the introduction that I've just, the short introduction that I've made, about you. So who is Miss England?
So, first of all, I absolutely already love your show, your music. Et je parle français aussi. C'est mon deuxième langue. You know.
Fantastic.
So, I am a mom of 4 beautiful daughters. This year they will be, goodness, I have to think, 34, 31, 22, 21. And I call them my 2 sets. I have a background of being coming from being a teenage mom, substance abuse. My mom was in substances. I was in substances. So I have a lot of lived experience, grassroots, standing 10 toes deep and being able to triumph. And of course, I could never triumph without God being on my side. So I always contribute everything back in regards to me keeping my mental status and me moving forward in life. Never this, like, I could not have done it without God.
Fantastic. So, I mean, you just paint the picture here, coming from a very challenging background, being involved in substance abuse and also, all kind of challenges, great obstacle, I would say, for, for any human being. So, I mean, how did you went through this, because you came from adversity, the restorative. So how did you manage to overcome all of this, to move from understanding exactly where you were, in the challenge, in the dark and in everything, to actively standing for yourself and telling yourself, no, I'm not going to go deeper. I'm going to, go toward the light and do something. When did it happen? And what was the breakthrough?
So let me say this. I think that we have a misconception of what the darkness is. Oftentimes when we talk about darkness, because darkness have levels to it. And oftentimes when we talk about darkness, it's always this grim, bad place. However, because wisdom was given to me at a very, very young age, we were formed in darkness. We were shaped in darkness. In the womb of the mom, we are in darkness. We develop our arms, our eyes, so in the darkness, what we consider, that's a lot of relation that go on again with the creator of heaven and earth, right? It's a solitude place. It's a sacred place. And so as I learned how to masterfully get through those dark places and understanding more about my purpose and understanding that everything I go through and everything I've went through was not specifically for me. So those times when it didn't feel great, I didn't feel good, I didn't feel like talking, those isolated places, solitude, it was really for the next woman that I was going to meet along this journey and this path. And if I did not make it through, now it takes a minute to really understand this because I didn't understand it in the beginning because it didn't feel great, right? So it really took understanding that in the dark sacred place, it was forming me and shaping me. It was not for the bad part. It wasn't supposed to overshadow me or take me under. It was to strengthen me. And once I came to the reality of that, which is why now we have the 5 anchors when I'm dealing with women: body, mind, foundation, connection, and purpose. It taught me that I was supposed to empower women to their purpose from within. But we only get that understanding is when we triumph through the dark places. And so when the light comes, we can appreciate it even more.
Oh, wow. So that's so powerful. And, I really like the fact that you're saying everything I went through was not for me. It was for the next woman. And it actually shaped me to be able to help next woman. That's just so powerful. And so my question is, how do you help, the woman, especially the one that went through, trauma, and how do you help them to minimize the trauma they've endured, and really look at the greatness that they have, and really focus on unleashing this greatness?
Okay, so when I focus on the power within,
Mm-hmm.
and I talk about the 5 pillars that we interject when we're dealing with women: body,
Mm-hmm.
mind, foundation, connection, and purpose. It's about teaching that woman how to break through, how to restore order in her own life, how to regain clarity, and how to harness her power. So breaking those things down, because we have so many different levels of what we've gone through, right? We have to
Mm-hmm.
get her to agree internally with really who she is and what's going on with her. Because so many times the society causes us to shrink as women, or causes us to be over apologetic as women, or we're always negotiating our value as women. But when we can get women to stop doing those things, stop shrinking, stop always apologizing, right? Or stop always negotiating our value, our worth, because society has already shown us to be something as women. But most of most of the knowledge that came from the society were not from women. It was from 9 times out of 10 narcissistic, misogynistic,
Mm-hmm.
right? They've never been a woman in their life, but here
Mm-hmm.
they go attempting to tell us how to be a woman, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And so it's really helping a woman again, restoring her own order,
Mm-hmm.
getting some clarity, and understanding her power that she has from within.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because the thing is, you can, work with the woman, but there are also, the society, because we women actually give birth to everyone, and we also raise the woman. And my question, I always ask myself, why don't we start the empowerment then? And why are we following, what society, and which is a society built to really favor men? Why do we, continue to carry this type of, this type of education for the woman? And how do you, through your program, break it?
Well, so first of all, it's really being accepted to where the woman is. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I can't really teach a woman how to be um, the CEO of her life if she hasn't dealt with the internal imbalances that she has going on first. Being
Mm-hmm.
able to, and what I have is something called the potted plant method. And so it's
Mm-hmm.
a visual that I use. Most of the time, I come out of my book, The Art of Remaining: Unlocking Your Growth and Success with Emotional Intelligence. I'm currently revamping it, and I have the curriculum to it. But it really is getting to where the woman is at inside of her, if I say potted plant.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, if, for instance, I'll give an example. If, for instance, a woman is still blaming or shaming herself for something she had no control over. We have no control over what happens to us before the age of 18. We have no control, right? We're depending on our caregiver. And I'm not going to just say mom or dad, because sometimes it's grandma, sometimes it's auntie, sometimes it's the foster care system.
Mm-hmm.
However, our caregivers are whom we depend on before the age of 18. They are responsible to get us to school on time. They are responsible for clothing us. They're responsible for feeding us. But at some point within that time, if at some point I felt neglected, if I felt abandoned, there could have been times I felt happy as well, you know. So it doesn't always have to be the negative or the downtrodden things. But if those type of things happen to me before the age of 18 and I carry them over to my adult life, I have
Mm-hmm.
to understand, is that the child me or is that the present me? So being
Mm-hmm.
able to separate that firstly. Why do we continue to accept what society have said to us? is because we still live in a male dominant society. When
Mm.
we as women begin to really stand up and we really come together, right? We say, listen, you can no longer tell our story. We are reframing what womanhood is. We know what it is to be a woman. We know what it is to, by default, accept things that go on in the family, you know, and we know what it is. If we have children, they have to pack up our bags and the children's bags and then
Mm.
have to, right? And all these different seasons and hats that we wear as women. Once we come into like complete knowledge, just that unashamed process of being a woman, and we
Mhm.
all can do it together, then we can shut the mouths of the men that think they know better than us, that think they know. Because 9 times out of 10, if a man leaves or he has to go, it could just be vacation. I'm not talking about leaving the house, but it's just him packing his stuff up.
Mhm.
9 times out of 10, if it's the woman, it's us packing our stuff up and the children.
The
So we all
children.
are carrying things, right? And so we learn how to stop moving in a dominant society as a more of an energy of a male type of energy. We have to learn how to hone in on our feminine or maybe our nurturing. Let me say this, or more of our nurturing energy as women, and be okay
Mhm.
with it. It's okay for us to relax. It's okay for us to recover, right? So those type of things is really important when I'm dealing with women, her really understanding who she is.
Mhm.
Again, that power within herself, coming to her own truth, and being able to move forward from them. Because if you don't know your identity, then you can't execute.
Mhm. 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 And that's the thing. And I'm very curious to know how the cultural background plays a role here, because obviously, we women, but we come from different. You probably came across women from different background, and how difficult it is to fit that background into the process.
Okay. Well, though we have different backgrounds, I think we still have more commonalities than just the big different background of a
Mhm.
culture. There's so much rooted in when we say culture. So if I say, because I mean, technically, I mean, literally looking at me, I know I came from somewhere in Africa. Okay.
Mhm.
However, I do not understand or know my culture to the fullest. Yet there's still some spirituality in my culture that still pulls me to understanding that there's something more to me than just the surface of what I was taught here in America, right?
Mhm.
So there's something that still pulls me. But then when we talk about women, we have a nurturing part of us. We can be in a store 9 times out of 10 and we hear a child cry. We as women, we're going to look like, where's the baby? There.
Mhm.
So we identify with our commonalities, not so much of our culture and our differences. We
Mhm.
deal with those things that we can all relate to. And there are many, many relatable, um, maybe relatable strategies maybe I can use,
Mhm.
relatable strengths that I can use. Um, when it comes to community, right? We all want to see, uh, well, for the most part of us, a lot of us want to see peace. So I say
Mhm.
peace, that would relate us across. Oh, yeah, peace. Let's talk about that. When I
Mhm.
talk about peace, I'm talking about pursuing excellence and courage every day. That's what I talk about in relations to peace. That's what I was given, right? Oh, yeah, I
Mhm.
want to pursue excellence and courage every day. Well, what does that look like? That right there is a topic I can take to a school. I can talk to women about it. I can talk to men about it. Men that want to, so it's looking at what we relate to. How can we
Mhm.
identify with each other? You know, um,
Mhm.
and not so much again the differences in our cultures.
Yes, so that's really important to say, because when we, it's more about, like you said, coming together instead of, coming as an entity where you are, a single, with your culture, like I said, but really trying to find out what connects us, and really build on that to be able to work together and to heal and to to go through our trauma. So very interesting, conversation. We're going to have a break, and we will be back to continue to to talk about women rights and how you help women and community, because it's not just women to empower themselves and go through the trauma and the challenge that they've gone through. So don't go anywhere. We will be back in few minutes. And then, like I said, get your pen and paper if you're just joining us, because there's a lot being shared today.
Now where it's harder to trust people because there's so much bad information out there. And so I think for me, like, I want to be a person that's reliable. Like, when I go to Kelsey Nicole Nelson, I know when I go to KNN, I know I'm getting the right information. And so I do my due diligence to make sure that whatever I put out there is something that obviously people can verify, they can trust. But also, I like to also be open. So meaning people can directly contact me, send me a message, right? Set up a time to talk with me, on the phone and do a consultation. So I think also that accessibility is huge as well, allowing you to question. But again, I think the biggest thing is making sure you get stuff right. I think when you trust the journalist, it's just like any relationship you have, right? I like to think trust is the most important. When someone breaks that trust, it's hard to get it back. So that's why for me, it's making sure I get it right the first time and making sure that people can believe me the first time.
Don't change the mind, it keeps going. You have to change your mindset. You have to change your spirituality. You have to learn to grow and move through that kind of stuff. And people don't want to do that. That's hard. Let me make sure I say this one more time. That's hard work. Getting help, changing your mindset, working on you is hard work. It's easier just to say, well, it's her fault. And if she had done this or he hadn't done this, I wouldn't be able to do that. It's easy to blame other people and pass on what happened to you to somebody else.
There's one specific key component you need to have as a leader, and that's integrity. You have to wear the badge of integrity. And that is something that I look at in a person. Integrity, the consistency, the inconsistency, the red flags, because when you meet me, I'm going to give it all on the table. I'm going to give you the knowledge, I'm going to give you the education. And if I don't know how, I'm going to send you to that other person that knows how, because I don't know everything. But the lack of integrity is what to identify that is not a leader, or that's not somebody that should be on your journey.
Something that I talk to my son about all the time. I actually had this conversation with him 2 days ago. And I said to him, son, remember this, that no matter what is going on in your life, no matter the amount of success you achieve, even the growing and the learning experiences, it was always God. And that's the legacy that I want to leave. Some people want to leave money, and that's good. Some people want to leave material things, and that's fine. But the legacy that I want to leave is the legacy to remind my son, my grandsons, and future generations that it was always God. It was always God directing their path. It was always God guiding them. It was always God that kept them. I never want them to lose that rich spiritual legacy. I never want them to rest on their own morals, on their own, even values that they feel, what comes in their culture and their generation of time. I want them to remember that everything that they do in life, it was always God. And
are back. We are back. We are back with Miss England, and if you miss, the first part, we're talking about, women right, and it is really interesting to to get it from someone who actually went through a certain number of challenges and had to really battle all the way from what we call the darkness into the light. So if you are here, get your pen, get your paper, because there's a lot that we're learning today. So I have a question, actually, because we were talking about how you help women and the thing that you focus on. So how does the intersectionality showing up in the challenge some women face today, particularly women who are mothers, survivors, or leaders emerging from very marginalized spaces?
Okay, goodness. So people come from so many different backgrounds. It's not funny. So I don't want to use the word funny. It's interesting how sometimes I run into so many women that have so many titles, but yet they're bleeding on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that some women have titles because it was expected of them, and they felt like they had to prove something to somebody. Yet they didn't have a chance to really deal with, again, maybe those childhood promises like, hey, dad's going to come and get you, but he never showed.
Mm-hmm.
Abandonment issues, right? They never had a chance to deal with those internal battles. And now we all have emotional turbulence, and we all have mental discourse. I don't care what your title is. Sometimes it's just difficult to get through life. Sometimes you hit a bump in the road and you're like, whoa, how am I going to get over this? Or how am I going to go around it? Or how am I going to accomplish this? We all hit those pivotal points in our lives. It's when we really can't see or we want to admit what's going on internally, as if you're the only one that goes through that, right? But we all have those points. And so being able to get an individual, a woman, to internally agree between what she knows, what she feels, what she allows, and what choices she has made, helps to separate or help to bring intersectionality into where she's becoming or where she's going. If I have not dealt with, again, what makes me happy. Now, my happiness does not depend on a man bringing me flowers. I'm just using that as a small example, right? I can easily go buy my own flowers. I have to figure out, why does it bother me that that man don't bring me flowers? It's not him that's going to make me happy. It's not just the flowers. Now, that might be the love language that I would like, right? But it has something to do, still something internally inside of me. And once I can get women to see, no, is that you? Is that the childhood you? Is that the present you? Did you bring something over into your childhood? There's this one song by an artist by the name of Erykah Badu called Bag Lady.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we take so much baggage with us. We have to begin to help women unload the baggage. Hey, just because so-and-so disappointed me doesn't mean that every person I meet is going to disappoint me. Just because I might have had a bad experience over in this career or this job or with this particular person doesn't mean that that has to continue to be the story. When I can learn how to look outside of a situation and not correlate everything into one category or just one section, it helps expand the mindset. It helps expand the process. It helps to deal with, hey, how do I govern myself? Is it something me, right? So those are some of the ways. I know that's saying a lot, but those are some of the ways. It's helping the individual identify if that credential that I may have, or that title I may have, or, even if it's a mom, okay? Because moms are really important, right? Am I bringing in something that should not be there? Have I healed? And so it's really being able to help a woman see if she's completely healed, or am I still blaming? Or am I still moving in a shame? Or am I moving in guilt? I think those are really, really important roots that some of us have not really gotten into. And so again, I go back to teaching women how to agree with really what's going on internally, opposed to pointing the finger on the outside.
And do we have like warning sign? I mean, I don't know, as as a counselor, or someone who has the experience working with wounded people, is there any sign that we can pick up and know, okay, this is it, we still need to deal with something? Because sometimes it can be unconscious, so we don't really know what we're still carrying. So how do we get those those warning signs and start to really understand that there's still something that we need to deal with?
Well, sometimes we have great friends around us that have no problem with letting us know. You need to deal with some stuff, right? And then it's, are we willing to accept it? Okay. So I might get to a place in my life to where I know that something's out of order. Something's not right. Something's not flowing right in my life. I might get to that point. We all sometimes get to that point, but then there's other times where I may not see it, and someone may have to bring it to my attention. And so even if someone brings it to my attention, is that a person that I'm willing to take that maybe corrective criticism, or hey, that loving approach, or the loving inquiry, right? Hey, what's going on with you? Are you okay today? Now, if it's somebody that's been in my life and I know they mean no harm, am I able to take that from them? If it's somebody that's kind of wishy-washy, I don't really know if they're loyal and they're telling me something, I may not be so acceptant to them saying, I need to work on something, right? So just how do we know? Hopefully we have a supportive group around us and loved ones that says, listen, I love you enough to say, I'm seeing that this behavior is going on, or I see that you continuously resort to this type of pattern. Let's explore that. Let's talk about that. Hey, and just letting them know, maybe they're not even open to talking at that time, to say, okay, listen, when you're ready, I'm here.
Wow. So that, I mean, it's a lot, especially right now. There's, a lot of women going through, especially, being a professional, being a mother, being, we all kind of things. So it's sometimes very difficult to just sit and because, as you mentioned, we need to know ourselves. So which means we need to sit down and really go inside and talk to ourselves and understand how we feel. Sometimes we don't even have the time to do that. And so it is important that we make the time to go through this process. So you mentioned at the beginning when we started, you said that, faith was everything for you, going through the challenges that you had. So I just wanted to know, how do you merge your, the expertise as a counselor, or, counseling people who have, challenges, with the empathy and the faith, and what is it? What is it for you, and how is it helping you?
Good. So my relationship with God is interesting. So I grew up in a Buddhist household, right? My mom at the time when I was a younger girl, she did the whole Namyoho Renge Kyo, right? However, I would find myself walking to a Baptist church as a very little girl. I don't know. I'm telling you. And so now where I'm at in my life right now, I have like I'll go to church, I'll go to the mosque, I go where God calls me, and that's why I said my relationship with God is very, very interesting. When which I need God every day, so don't take this anyway. But when I really needed him, like when my sister got killed in a car accident, I was in my early 20s, I already had 2 daughters. I was fighting in the court system for her 3 children, trying to keep my nieces and my nephew together. I think I was probably 21 at that time. And if I did not, at that time, I was in the Church of God in Christ, Jesus, right? The blood of Jesus. I believe that when you jump all into God, nothing stays out. When I said yes to God, I said yes to God. If you take me over there, I'm going to go. Not that it's easy. God, if you take me over there, I'm going to go. Because what happened is that you begin to get questioned by people. However, I must remember that people did not give me my purpose. People did not choose me to walk this path, that God chose me to walk this path. So they may question, hey, why are you over at the church? And then why are you over here at the mosque? And then why are you? I have to go where God tells me. I cannot be so close-minded to where I can't hug my Muslim sister. I can't be so close-minded to where I can't hug my Christian sister. I can't be so close-minded to where if I'm walking up on someone and they're in a substance use situation, I can't love them because now I'm too judgmental, right? I can't be the judgmental person. And so when it comes to what I believe and how God has ordained me and have chosen me, I am what I would consider the bondage breaker. And so I break those type of barriers. I break those type of mindsets. I actually will be getting my doctorate here in metaphysics because I believe that God is too big to keep inside of a religion anyway. The creator of the heavens and the earth. Now I'm not, people have to do what feels right to them. Let me make that very clear. The only way I could keep my mind after my sister got killed in a car accident, believe you me, I was in church. Jesus is real. You understand me? I know the blood. I know all that. I know how to lay hands on the sick and they shall recover. I walk in all of that. But I am who God need me to be when I need to be it. As a bondage breaker, I think that's really, really important. And here we go again. This is not about doing more. It's about how I govern myself. My identity is important. I cannot execute anything if I don't know who God created me to be. It doesn't matter that men or women don't understand me. As long as I'm showing the love of God, as long as I know that when I wake up in the morning and when I go to sleep at night, that my accountability is to God, and I believe that God is pleased with me, that's all that matters. Because I'm going to love, it doesn't matter your color. It doesn't matter your religion. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. It doesn't matter if you're homosexual. It doesn't matter to me because I'm not the judge. But if you're unsafe, you understand? I don't have to agree with the lifestyle. I don't have to agree with it. But for me to sit and judge someone and I don't know their behind story, I don't understand what calls them down this path. But I do need to let them know that there is a God that loves them beyond their trauma, that loves them beyond their experiences. And it doesn't just take me being in one religion. It takes me understanding that God is so bigger than most people want to see God as. And so that's where I'm at in life.
Fantastic. And it's so powerful. And I like bondage breaker. And sometimes, and religion, people want to put you in a box. And I like the fact that you said No, I go where God actually is sending me. If He's sending me toward my, the Muslim, I'm gonna go there. Toward the Christian, I'm gonna go there. Toward the Buddhist, I'm gonna go there. So it's really important to have this, to be open, to and listening to God, because sometimes we have our own idea of God and we think, oh, that's what it is, but we're not listening. And I really like the way you explain it. It's like I have to listen and then go where God is sending me, because that's the most important thing. So we're gonna have our last break, and we will be back with Miss England. I hope you are enjoying this conversation as I am, and it is so rich and really understanding, how we have to first, know ourselves, in everything that we're going through. It's important to first know ourselves, and then, people can also support us in the process. So don't go anywhere. We will be back in few minutes. Hello, everyone. This is Mariah, the Greatness Engineer, with you today. Welcome to the Greatness Minute. So you must know by now that you have greatness inside of you. You've been listening to me for the last few weeks as part of this Greatness Minute, and I hope that you understand that you have this greatness, but don't sit on it. Don't sit on it. Your road to greatness starts now. It doesn't start tomorrow. It starts now. So make sure, don't, no more drama, no more excuses, no more waiting for the right moment to start implementing something. Start planning now. Start putting all the resources that you need now. Start immersing yourself in the right communities, in the right environment. Start growing your knowledge. Start surrounding yourself with the right people. And stop just waiting for it to happen. It is your time. Step into your greatness, get moving and get going, because your journey to greatness starts now. So thank you for being with us today. See you next week. So we are back. We are back with Miss England, and it is definitely a great conversation. I can see that Janelle has joined. Hey, Janelle, thank you for coming. Thank you for being with us today. We are having a very good conversation today, and I hope that you will enjoy as well. And I wanted to know, obviously we're getting to the end now. Unfortunately, Janelle, if you could, leave a message to, to every woman watching right now, with, if you could leave them with just one truth about their value, about their action to protect their right, what will be, this truth?
The truth. Actually, I wrote it down. And it would be a final affirmation, right?
Mm-hmm.
It says, I stand 10 toes deep in my worth. My healing strengthens my family. My clarity fortifies my community. My presence elevates the nation. We are women of nations. When we are pregnant with our children, we are also often pregnant with purpose. And just remember, it's okay to stand 10 toes deep in your worth.
Whoa, 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 whoa. So it is we are women of worth, and that's important to know, because sometime, and I've seen it, because I've worked most of my most of my life with in a male dominated environment, and I see those women who are powerful but don't actually use their power, always wait for a male counterpart to take a decision for them. And it has to stop. It has to stop. We need to understand that we are powerful, and we have to use this power. We have greatness. We have to unleash this greatness. We don't have to always wait for someone else, or in this case, for a male counterpart to make a decision for us. So all good. And another question that I really like is, what is the legacy? Because they want to leave, because you've been doing this work, empowering people, making a difference in, creating, a positive impact in people's lives. So, what is the legacy that you want to leave? Looking at, what's happening right now around the world, or if in the U.S., around you in the community where you are.
Oh, goodness. And I'm going to base it off of your show called The Greatness Engineering. When we understand our greatness, one of the things that we do at the House of Restoration is unselfishly mentor. When I understand my greatness, I actually can pour into someone unselfishly, right? I have the wisdom, they may have the resources. And it's okay to see someone get to the next level, because your direction may be going this way. You may just be the one to plant or water that person to their greatness. And so the legacy that I would love to leave behind is to unselfishly give yourself.
Mm-hmm. And selfishly give yourself. And that's very important, especially as we, getting into complex and muddy water around the world. It is important that we understand that we have to give ourselves unselfishly. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Miss England, for being with us today. Just wanted to know, how do people connect with you if they want to, now that you've lightened, you've actually put the match now, and it's the fire is there. So how do people continue this conversation with you?
So what they would do is go to authormsengland.com. That's author, AUTHOR. Ms. is spelled MSZ.
Mm-hmm.
England, just like the country.com. And that Z is important because I'm waking up those that are sleeping, whether they're sleeping on me or they're sleeping on themselves. It's time to wake up, right? So authormsengland.com. They can go there. They can even take a quiz that we have on there. And very much, yes, they can hit me up on my Instagram at Veda J Inspire. They'll see the 5th annual event that we just did entitled She's Worthy. And I look forward to speaking with, or they can simply email me at msengland@gmail.com.
amazinglen@gmail.com. Fantastic. Thank you again. Thank you again for this, for being with us. It is always a pleasure. I've learned so much today again, and I always tell people I have a university in this show because I learn from so many people, and I always, after, for the 45 minutes, there's always, something that I bring in and something that an opportunity for me to implement and to go to the next level as well. So thank you very much. So we have Janelle, and we also have Komoso. Thank you very much, Komoso, for being with us all the way from South Africa. It is a pleasure to have you with us today, and I hope the audience really love our conversation. The conversation really reminds us of a profound truth, because as women, we do not need permission to have value, and that's an important fact. But society must be held accountable for protecting our rights, even and that's a key thing for us to continue to get to the next level, to get to showing our worth, because the worth that we have is internal, and the right are something structural, and true leadership is about creating a bridge between the two, and we need that as well. So if this conversation really resonated with you, don't keep it for yourself. Share in your in your community, share with your network. And and I also want to invite you to reflect on one thing. Where in your life do you know your worth? Where do you know your worth? It is important. Do you know your worth? It is an important question that you need to ask yourself every day. So thank you again for being with us. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. Thank you for sharing your expertise and your story. It has been a pleasure to be with you. Any last word that you want to leave the audience with, Miss England?
I appreciate you having me here on the show. And yeah, don't be afraid to exercise your power within. Let's bring it out, ladies. Let's bring forth an unashamed process and reframe the whole trajectory of what womanhood really is.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And for the audience, I will be back for another episode of the Greatness Engineering show next week, and I hope you'll be able to join us. And again, all the best, Miss England, and we'll stay in touch anyway. Thank you very much for being with us again.
Peace and blessings. Thank you.
Bye.